he took bread and he broke it. Break it if you can. And then he gave it to his disciples and he said, this is my body broken for you. Eat. Let's eat. And as you eat, understand that this is the greatest example of a love feast. The greatest example of a love feast. And in the same manner, he took the cup. And after he had given thanks, if Jesus gave thanks, we should give thanks as well. But after he had given thanks, we have already given thanks for the blood and for the bread. You know what he said? This is my love gift. I'm giving you all of me. I'm giving you my blood. I'm giving you my life. This is the new covenant in my blood. Drink all of it. And I am saying, as you eat and as you drink this morning, expect great things. Expect miracles. I don't even feel like preaching. I just feel like we should talk a little bit. But keep the camera on because somebody online is going to get blessed. You see, once February comes, the shops come alive again. You have to buy the flowers, you have to buy the gifts, and some of the ladies, if they don't get the gifts, then, boy, it's not a happy home. And some of the guys, if they don't buy the gift, they can't go home. And nothing is wrong in giving gifts. Nothing is wrong in saying, I love you. But what we just celebrated a while ago is the greatest demonstration of love. And everybody who goes to church or even past the door will remember John 3:16. Help me with it, somebody. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have what? Everlasting life. For God so loved. He is the perfect demonstration of love. So what Jesus was gonna do was pay for us. Imagine you go to a gourmet restaurant, expensive, and you look at the menu and you see all these exotic things, and the cheapest one you could find on there is $500 for the plate, and you decide, I'm here already, so I'm gonna put it on my credit card. But I'm gonna celebrate. And you've eaten and you go up to pay, and you hear it's paid. Last week, our daughter shared something. A very good friend of hers went to treat his mom to a birthday celebration, and they went to the restaurant. And you know, it's good to let people know that it's your birthday when you're in a restaurant, you know. So the news got out. And then all of a sudden, when she was served, this group of guys, there must be some recording artists, they just sang to her. They didn't know her from anywhere. Beautiful. They sound like the Shylights, the Manhattan Boys, the Men, and they sang. I mean, she was brought to tears. It's good. So when they were getting ready to pay, guess what? They said, we are giving you this to pay for your meal. God did more than that for you and I. That's the love gift. That's the love sacrifice. Also, somebody say, well, Dr. Antonio, Pastor Antonio, you dress up in red and white. You follow the world. It's Valentine. What kind of church is that? Valentine is for the world, not for you. I am glad you think that, because I'm going to explain myself clearly this morning. We're just reasoning. You know what I mean? Now, I have to tell you that Valentine is connected with Christianity because it was a priest by the name of Gelasius who started a kind of patron saint celebration for two so-called priests who were known as Saint Valentines. We always think of Valentine as just one person, one priest. But it is understood that there were as many as 3 of them, 2 from Italy and 1 from Africa. And so this was to celebrate these priests, 2 of them who were definitely beheaded for sharing the gospel and for promoting Christianity. So they have that's where Valentine started. There are all kinds of Valentine's tradition. But we just celebrated the best one, the most meaningful one. Because when nobody else loves you, he loves you. When no one else loves me, he loves me. Now let me get personal with you a little bit. I have to tell you my own story because we're family. See, I'm not preaching at you, we're just talking this morning. A little over 34 years ago, I made a decision because the Lord talked to me. Don't let my wife hear this. I had a very pretty girlfriend. When we walked down the street, nobody saw me. All eyes were on this pretty girl. And I was in my apartment. No, we didn't live together, but we had a little thing going, you know. And a voice said to me, you need to leave that girl because she's not going the way you're going. I thought, but she's beautiful, she's pretty. The voice said, you better leave. And you know, I told her, I said, look, before things get out of hand, I'm going to go back to my church and I'm going to serve my God. She laughed me to scorn. You know what she said? You can't leave me because I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. But I felt this conviction in my heart that you need to do what the Lord told you to do. So I left that village, went to a big city nearby, and I decided that what I was sensing in my spirit was from God, and if I disobeyed him, I might get in trouble. So 1 month passed. I didn't call. She didn't call. 2 months passed. I was managing a big soft drinks company. But in my effort to dedicate myself to the Lord, the devil said all kinds of things. I moved to a place called Montego Bay. Man, I had never seen so many pretty girls after me at that time. I am not seeing them. They're winking at me. They're sending their phone number. I go to the bank to make my allotment. All the bank tellers are looking at me. And I'm thinking, but I've never seen this in all my life. What is happening? But I said, no, God, the way that has God ever spoken to you? Anybody inside here? When God talks to you, it's different from when you hear something in your ears, you know. When God talks to you, he speaks to your entire being, every facet of your being. So if you disobey him, you know it and you feel it and you know it. So I said no. I mean, girls, Montego Bay, pretty girls. Then out of the blue, one day, a friend of mine who used to work with me when I was in the hotel industry. See, I'm accustomed to seeing pretty people, pretty girls from all over the world. This guy came to my apartment and he said, Floyd, I know you used to be in a gospel band, and I know you have this big living room area. You live by yourself. There's no furniture in there, and I'm starting a gospel band. I want you to be a part of this gospel band, and I want permission to use your place. I said, well, you can use the place. Big place as big as here. But I said, playing guitar. I said, the Lord is doing something with me right now, so I'm not sure about that part. Flashback a little bit. About a month or two before, a friend who lived on the same building, I was driving down Montego Bay and I heard this big Jamaican accent where when they call my first name, they don't pronounce the O. They change it to A. So instead of saying Floyd, I heard Floyd! Loud in Montego Bay. So I glanced and I recognized him, so I stopped. He said, "You going home? You go home? No? Are you good?" So I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can I get a ride? And I have somebody I've been telling you about." This guy, he used to talk with some people that I consider very ugly. The girls, I just thought of them as very ugly, so I used to say to him, "Can you find a good-looking young lady to talk with, man?" He said, "I know beautiful women." I said, "Knowing them and having them too is a different thing." So he came to this pickup truck and he said, "Floyd, this is one of the girls I was telling you about. Beautiful girl. She lives up in the same area. Give her a ride." I thought, yeah. When I looked, oh my goodness. This beautiful, slim, petite, curvaceous lady came in and she had the charm of an angel. And what this guy did was worse. He put the girl in the middle, so I was at the driver's side and then he was and the girl was in the middle, and he introduced us. He said, "Floyd, this is," and he called the girl's name. And then he called her again and said, "This is Floyd. And let me confess to you, I spoke such nonsense on the way up. It's like I lost my mind, and I'm usually a very eloquent person. But boy, I was just talking foolishness." And I took her home. It turned out that this beautiful, angelic being was living next door to me, and I didn't know. But you could see the class, the quality, the dedication, the decency. I can't describe it. So when we dropped her off, I don't know what I said, because as far as I'm concerned, it was only foolishness. But I remember saying to the young man, I said, "Don, a girl like that, I wouldn't go near to her unless I'm ready to get married." So the conversation ended. The day for the first rehearsal, this guy came in with 4 of the most beautiful ladies that I had seen. But there was one who had shunned them all. It was the neighbor that I had given a lift. And then I started malfunctioning again. And I tried to cover it up for weeks. Everybody saw it. I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to talk to her. I am not saying anything. So the friend would say, "Floyd, you got to tell her how you feel, man. Everybody has seen it. You're beside yourself. You have to say something. This is a nice girl." I thought, okay, let me muster up some courage. No, I'm not a shy person. I will walk up to anybody and talk to them. But in this case, I was a bundle of nervousness. So I finally mustered the courage. And I walked up to her one day after band practice, and I said something to the effect that, I like you, I'd like us to get to know each other better in more than a casual way, something to that effect. She looked at me with the charm of an angel and she said, "Floyd, I just see you as a nice person. You're not my type." So I thought, oh my goodness, I'm in trouble now. So I said, sometimes women play hard to get. So maybe she's just playing hard to get. So I let a couple of weeks pass on another occasion. And I went to her. And she said the same thing again. Not rude, not arrogant, just lovingly, charmingly nice. but she was rejecting me. I went to the Lord. I said, Lord, I have been trying to shake this conviction, this feeling, this nervousness, this I can't control. Can you remove it for me, please? Because I need to be comfortable around this young lady because she said no twice. So please remove the feeling. And I got it. When you pray to the Lord, you expect him to answer, right? Well, the Lord answered, but he didn't answer like how I wanted. Instead of removing the feeling, the conviction, the sentiments, the love bugs, the butterflies in my stomach, guess what the Lord did? He multiplied it. He multiplied it. So I thought, if God didn't remove it, I got to do something about it then. Maybe the girl is just playing hard to get. So I went back to her. A third time, guess what she said? You don't want to guess? She said no again. I thought, well, this is the end of me. So I went back to the Lord. You see, it's okay for us to go to the Lord and question him. Ask him things. When we misunderstand, when we can't understand, go back to him and ask. So I said, Lord, I come to you and I ask you for help. And you are the God who answers prayer. I've asked this girl 3 times. She rejected me. So it's not that I don't know how I feel and what I plan to do with her, but she told me no. And I asked her to remove the feeling. You multiply it. The 3rd time I go and she told me no. What do you want me to know? And the Lord spoke to me again. He said, boy, relax yourself. Stop worrying. That girl is going to be your wife. I said, what? That's all I wanted to hear. I couldn't wait. You know what I did after that? The next time I saw her, I walked up to her. I'm talking about love talk now on Valentine's Day. You're gonna see how it ties in. I walked up to her. I said, my dear, you can go anywhere you want to go. See anybody you want to see. Do anything you want to do. That's fine with me. I'm not worried. I'm not going to ask you again because you're going to be my wife. She looked at me. She said, oh, you're so full of yourself. Nicely. Who do you think you are? I said, don't you worry, my dear. The same God who showed this to me and who spoke this to me will tell you that. And I didn't ask her to be in a relationship again. I didn't ask her to be my girlfriend or my sweetheart. I just didn't bother her about any love talk. For the next several months, we just chatted like friends, good friends. And we became good friends. I'm talking about for months and months until she would even let me take her for a ride in my pickup and we drive around the country. But nothing about love until one Valentine day. I walked up to her in the because we were good friends now, so we could talk. I said to her, my dear, I am not seeing anyone. You're not seeing anyone. We're good friends, and it's Valentine's Day. May I ask you to just let me take you out? I am going to be well behaved. Just for us to be good talk. We're just gonna talk because I don't have a girlfriend. You don't have a boyfriend. We are good friends. Guess what she did? She said yes. I didn't stick around because I didn't want her to change her mind. I said okay. That day, the enemy tried to discourage me. I had to go to a manager's meeting in Kingston and it rained all day. And when it was time to leave, the manager called me and said, you have a whole pickup truck load of things to take back. So I said, put them in. I drove like a madman, except for care, back to Mobile. The van was not clean, it was dirty. I called, I said, I am back from Kingston. My van is dirty. Is it okay to come still because I won't have time to clean it up? I will be too late. I'm talking about my girlfriend. So she said, okay. So I went and I picked her up. I won't tell you that I have known her mom months before. I'd even been to the house, but didn't know that they had two girls. I didn't even know. But by then they had seen me take care of her, so it was okay. So we went out. And the next Valentine's Day, I'll tell you the details of that, so I don't keep you here all morning. But we went out. Oh, I gotta tell you this part. I said to her, she said to me, so where are we going? I said, someplace you will love. She says, why are you going out to Coral Garden? I said, my friend has left something that I need to get. And I need to deliver something as well. All of that is true though, you know. I said, hold this for me, please. Nice present. I had studied her, knew something that she would like. But she didn't think it was for her because she's not my girlfriend. So when we got to the house, I said, it's a little bit dark here, you know, so I don't want to stumble when we're falling down the hill. So I have to make sure. So guess what she did? She kind of held on to my hand for support. That was like gold. It was like heaven. She touched my hand. Hallelujah. She touched my hand. So when I got to the door, she said, how are you going to get in? I said, I know where the key is. I took up the key, opened the door, and when I went inside, I got the surprise of my life. My friend had set up a welcome setting in the house, the most romantic red and white thing with all kind of delicacies. I was surprised because I asked him to do it for me. I didn't know he would have gone to that extent, you know. He had been married for a while, so he knew a thing or two about love, you know. So I said, oh my God. I lost my cool. And then the Holy Spirit said, calm down, boy. Take control. So I said, I'm the man here, let me take control. I said, can I hold your hand again? And I held her hand, and we prayed. What? You prayed? Yes, we prayed. And after the prayer was over, the spirit of freedom in dialoguing. We sat there, we chatted, we ate, we were just sitting there chatting until we were there, until it was almost 12 o'clock. I said, I thoroughly enjoy your company and I'd love to go out with you again. But my mom always said to me that if I go out with anybody's daughter, I mustn't go back in their house after midnight. So please let me take you home. So we got up and I drove her romantically back to her place overlooking the sea on that hill. And I walked her to her door. And then on the step, I tried something. And she let me. We shared that kiss. And I thought this woman would never let me kiss her unless she wants it to go where I want it to go. So I didn't wait. As soon as I kissed her, I watched her as she opened her door. I think I got back into the vehicle. I don't know how I got home. I was on high. I was on a cloud. Another day, I'll tell you part 2 of that. But I share this because Valentine's Day is special for us, for me, because of not only what Christ did for me on Calvary's cross, but because of how he orchestrated the relationship that developed between that awesome, beautiful, wonderful girl. And you want to hear something? We've been making all kinds of love and beautiful things, including children, from that time till now. And to be honest with you, we've been doing that for over 33 years. I don't know about your love story. I don't know about yours. 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 But this is double reason for me to celebrate Valentine's Day. So the first reason, the red symbolizes the blood that Jesus shed for me. The white symbolizes how he purifies us and cleanses us from sin so we are purer than the snow. The love that Jesus brings lasts forever. In the Greek way of thinking, they have three different words for love. The first word is eros, which has to do with physical attraction and copulation. The second word is phileo, which has to do with fidelity, like love between brother and sister. The third word that the Greeks use is agape, which symbolizes the love of God, the love of man to God, the love of God to us. These three words. In English, we just have one word for love. That is why in the secular world, if a guy does what he's not supposed to do before marriage with somebody else, they call that love. But the love that cements this relationship between this still beautiful girl of mine is a combination of all three. Eros is there, philia is there, and agape is the seal. So that is why you can tell anybody that the pastor of the Citadel has a girlfriend. Listen carefully now. He has a sweetheart and he has a wife. Yes, I have a girlfriend, I have a sweetheart, and I have a wife. But guess what happens? All three of them are one and the same person. All three of them is the same person who is my Rose, who is still a little bit shy, who is my wife. We have come a long way. Once upon a time, she wouldn't let me do that in public. So, if you're single and you want a partner for life, listen to God. Ask him, describe the kind of person that you want. Sit down, what kind of person you want? Don't think about the hunky-dory, muscular one or the rich one. Because I was far from rich when the Lord connected us. The only wealth I had was what I had in him. And she was from a wealthier family financially than I was. But she wasn't rich either. But one of the things that the Lord has taught us is that one hand cannot clap unless you're slapping somebody. So I share this because love is in the air and people are talking about love, but the greatest love of all is the love that Jesus brings. Joseph Collins says, the roses fade within an hour whenever the sun comes up each day. Very soon it loses its yellow. Very soon it fades away. Because a speck of cloud can change the weather and stop the song that the bird sings. But there is one thing that lasts forever, and that's the love that Jesus brings. If you're here today and you have not given yourself over to this love, this is a love feast, and you want to give your heart to the Lord today, just stick a finger up and pull it down. I will encourage you. It's so simple you could miss it. If you're here and you want to connect with Mr. Love, not me, Mr. Love, just raise a hand and take it down. Because he's the greatest love of all. He gave all of himself. I pray that you, in return, will give all of yourself to him so that he can fill you with his joy. I didn't preach to you today. I just share my love story. What's your love story like, Brother Jonathan? You remember the first time you saw her?
I'm so glad that you were talking about your story because it was last night, the night before. I was telling my wife, I asked her if she remembered the first time or the first kiss.
you brought me through.